Hey, how's it going, everybody? Oliver Prado here for Prado Blades. I'm going to talk about the 15-inch combat Ginunting. The combat Ginunting, the 15-inch Ginunting, is the official blade of the Philippine Force Recon Marines, and it's the blade that Master Sergeant Prado takes a lot of pride in hand forging. He's retired Second Lieutenant Prado of the Philippine Force Recon Marines, Class 001. The guy has had battle experiences for over 20 plus years. From what I'm told, the guy is like an unbelievable, he's like Rambo. He's essentially, if you're in trouble in the battlefield, this is the guy that will save you. This is the guy that is very legendary. And each of the blades that he hand forges, and he really puts some deep thought into the design of it, the implementation of it, the testing of it. And it's something that they carry with them with the utmost trust in the battlefield or combat zones. And these are utilized for close quarter combat situations. So they train the Kali system in order to be able to preserve not only themselves, but their, the Marines, the fellow Marines that they're serving with. So it helps not only to protect them, their brothers, but also the nation when it comes to close quarter combat. And each one of these are, think of it in this aspect here, is it's a rarity to be able to have one of these in your hand. So we're truly honored to be able to represent these blades and being able to present these blades to the public worldwide. So let's take a look at the 15-inch top Prado Ginunting. Let's take a look at the outside features of this. Of course, you're always going to have the beautiful kamagong. This is an indigenous exotic wood of the Philippines. And the grains that you see on here, after you sand it down, it's all handmade, hand carved, and then they sand it down. These grains that you see, these beautiful grains, almost like an espresso type of finish, but it's beautiful. That's what makes these things unique, is that even if I grab another kamagong scabbard, it's like fingerprints. You're always going to have a different look. And these aren't even stained. So once you have these things all set up and they're sanded down, as you get to see right there with the beautiful light, it's got a unique feature to it, but it's gorgeous because the grains literally come out and they're not even stained. These are the natural grains. So this is the outside. Of course, this is a scabbard, hand-carved kamagong scabbard, and then the hand-carved handles. Some of the new features for the 2019-2020 versions are the 3-pinned handles. And aesthetically, we added these on here because they look gorgeous. I talked to retired Second Lieutenant Prado about this. They're not easy. He's told me how difficult these are to be able to pin. They're not easy by any standards, but what we are offering, especially new for this year, is a pretty good value. So take advantage of it. We're adding these on there complimentary, but as you can see, it gives it a beautiful look. Look at how gorgeous that is. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. What does this look like when you take it out of the scabbard? So you draw it out. Boom. Yes. Now you can see. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, this feels unbelievable. And we've handled, me and my business partner, Paul Ingram, have handled a lot of swords. And because we train a lot in the system, and we've handled a lot of swords, and these are by far the best handling. And it makes sense that these have to be the best handling bolos or swords taken to combat zones or war zones, because you can't replicate the handling of it. And the reason why you can't replicate it is because of the man who forged these. He implemented them, he designed them, he forged them, and they're utilized in close quarter combat situations for the Philippine Force Recon Marines. And you really have to give that up to retired Second Lieutenant Prado. And you can see his blade mark on here as well. But really, when you hold this in your hand and you apply the right principles, the correct principles of proper training, this thing is going to be, it flies very fast. And you'll notice that you'll have this curved feature, which is, it's the design of the Ginunting where it's swept slightly forward. And anything that is like, it literally touches, once this thing is in motion, it's literally going to keep funneling in. And as it keeps funneling in, it's not only capturing it, but it's continually cutting. I mean, that's the brilliant design of the Ginunting. And if you look at the upper third, of Of course, where the beak is located, the upper third is as well sharpened. It's very sharp, so you have to take that in consideration as well for your training. But when you place this in your hands, there's no feeling like a top Prado blade. I mean, now let's take a look at this, the design aspect of it, because you can visually look at it. I mean, take a look at it. It's a beautiful sword. I mean, this is a 15-inch blade, beautiful sword. Fits perfectly in your hand. I mean, these are designed specifically. A lot of people try to copy the handles of Prado's design handles, but they're specific, especially when you hold on to them. You hold on to them, you can tell, right when you grab the blade itself, you can tell the design of this. I mean, it's like all vehicles or motorcycles or anything. Like any design of it could look great in pictures, but once you feel her out and you put this in your hand, you can tell. And then once you start moving around with it, if you're properly trained, it's quite obvious that this thing handles the way it's supposed to handle. I mean, there's no doubt whatsoever that if you're training and you're doing your proper training, you start moving around with this. There's a sense of certainty, like you are certain that this is not going to fail because you haven't failed in your training, so this is not going to fail you. I mean, look at how beautiful this thing is. But again, I can't stress enough that once you put a Prado blade in your hand, that's when you truly feel the difference, that it separates itself from any other thing that's really out there. And the reason being is because it's been tested for a long time. The design of it has purpose, it has meaning, it has intent. Every time retired Second Lieutenant Prado forges these, he knows that when it goes into the hand of, let's say, a fellow brother Marine, that this thing has to be able to function, and they have to essentially survive at close quarter combat. And this is the blade or the blades that you need to be able to utilize that for. So gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous blade. If you have any other questions, do not hesitate to contact us. We get a lot of emails and messages, so please be patient with that. But again, this is the 15-inch top Prado Ginunting. These are the official blades of the Philippine Force Recon Marines, and they are forged. They were designed, implemented, forged, and they're utilized in war zones by the men of the Philippine Force Recon Marines. And we give that credit to a legend, and that legend is retired Second Lieutenant Prado of the Philippine Force Recon Marines Class 001. So we got to thank him for that. All right? So if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact us anytime. Check out our Facebook, check out our Instagram, of course, YouTube. We're going to keep putting out some videos on YouTube. And see you guys. I'm telling you, I can't get enough of it. It's like a kid in a candy store, right? It doesn't matter. Every time we get new shipments in, we inspect every single shipment, and the minute you start to literally take them out of the scabbards, you're just never gets old. You guys know what I mean. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.